Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome. You have joined Sister Hadia at Ramadan Radio, Wolverhampton, with wisdoms from the Quran. We will start as usual, beginning with Durud Ibrahim, and inshallah then following with Surah Al-Fatiha. And I will then give the meaning, and then we'll go into our show, inshallah, today. And we have some interesting topic areas, and I hope you will enjoy it and join me learning about the medicines in the Quran. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate. Praise be to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the most merciful, the most compassionate, Master of the Day of Judgment. You alone we worship, and you alone we ask for help. Guide us on the straight path, the path of those you have favoured, and not the path of those who have earned your anger or gone astray. Just to recap, what did we do last week? We covered the topics condiment of vinegar, and we looked at pomegranate and grapes. Alhamdulillah. I hope you all put all your knowledge to benefit and you brought it into practice. Alhamdulillah. And we've this week, inshallah, we're going to cover the areas of bananas, black seed, and if we have time, because black seed is such a large area, is also we'll try and look at honey. And if we need more time, we can always run it over to next week, inshallah. But I hope that inshallah we can learn about the benefit, the use, and why the Quran Pak talks about the bananas. Did you even know they talk about bananas? Did you know about black seed oil? Surprisingly, I talk to many people from my clinic about black seed, and many don't even know the benefits. Many have even introduced it into their lifestyles. So it's interesting to see that what the Quran has to offer, what the Quran is saying to us, what is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala telling us and guiding us with. Why should we even learn about the Quran? Why should we understand it? I want you to ask these questions. The Quran has a beautiful place in our life, beautiful place in Islam. It took 23 years to be revealed from Jibreel al-Islam, the angel Jibreel, to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, over the span of 23 years, responding to all the different situations, to all the different life events, different ages, different times, different cities, different situations. And alongside the expansion of Islam, the introduction of laws for education, for women's rights, for justice, for becoming the best of humans, in the same way, while it was training the Prophet ﷺ on his political and social aspects, it was also teaching, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was also teaching through the revelation. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was teaching through the revelation to the Prophet ﷺ how to have a balanced life in the social sphere, in the political sphere, in the home, outside, but also for the body. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was teaching the Prophet ﷺ how to have the best form of diet. If the Prophet ﷺ, as stated in the Quran, he is the best of examples. He is the walking Quran, therefore he practiced whatever he taught. Do we not have a duty as Muslims, and even non-Muslims who have interest in this knowledge and see benefit from this knowledge, to seek from it? Be guided from anyone, even be a child or an elderly, if they have good to offer you. So, we have the divine knowledge here. And subhanAllah, the Quran talks about condiments, beverages, fruits and vegetables, different meats. It talks about how, stabilizing your health, stabilizing your mindset, stabilizing your emotional state. And all this roots at your food. So if you can then recognize what kind of character you have, what kind of personality you have, you will therefore know and understand or seek to know what the food offers, what natures the food are, if they're hot or if they're cold, if they're dry, if they're wet. And then you would then find what's most suitable for you, or whatever you eat, you then balance it so that these foods become a healing. And I think in this day and age, we have so much knowledge, so much information. And sometimes, like I might have mentioned in one of my last broadcasts, that, sometimes too much interesting times, too much knowledge can actually be a curse. And especially if it's not useful knowledge, if it's not put to good use, if it's not bringing humanity up and great, if it's not showing that we have a great regard for animals, for the wildlife, for nature, for other humans, human rights, especially in today's day and age. If we are so educated, if we are so learned, if we are so knowledgeable, it should show through our actions. No doubt we are failing somewhere because we are failing the nature, the world. We are destroying it, and I think we all need to really reflect on this. And I hope that I've kind of steered you and got you to start thinking about what you are doing in your own home, in your own kitchens. What kind of foods are you presenting your children with? What kind of lifestyles, food menus are you presenting to your children? Are they for the whims and ways and the taste buds of your tongue? Or are they for healing? Are they in the path of Islam? Are they for the balancing of the human nature so that we heal, we're strong, we are able to do good, and we remove ourselves from being lazy, lethargic, procrastinating, from becoming blind to our environment and the needs of our home or our community. Let's wake up. Let's see what's happening with our bodies first. And inshallah, God willing, let's wake up to what food should really be doing for us. Should it be damaging us? Should it be making us obese? Should it be giving us illnesses? Or should it be healing us? Should it be balancing our natures? You can't just give in to being, having extreme characters. That's not acceptable. We got to balance ourselves. We got to be the best of. If we're always professionally developing ourselves, why aren't we socially and personally developing ourselves? Why isn't there a professional personal development? And this is part of it. And I hope that this regular shows that I'm doing is waking up that side of it, that side of your nature, that side of your knowledge, that side of your awakening for healing ourselves through our foods, through the kitchen foods we have. We're able to become better and healthier people, inshallah. So that was my little startup. I hope you forgive me if I was a bit more ruthless than usual. But I think there's some times where we need to create passions. We need to wake up our desires, wake up ourselves from desires, from our dreams, from our, likes of just having whatever our whims and ways states. Let's wake up from it and come back to what should be happening, what is good for us, what is good for our nature, what is good for our bodies, ready for when an illness does come, it has a strong immune system. And especially coming out of COVID, it should be an eye-awakener. I really think that we've all, in some form or another, have crossed, COVID symptoms of some sort or another. And even if it not even be in the last few months, but in the maybe 6 to 8 months, because I remember being really ill at the end of November and through December, and I couldn't understand what it was because it was so severe and it knocked me for 6. But I kind of now making connections that it possibly was that. And thank God, good practices were in my lifestyle that I was able to recover really quickly, But if it can knock us at our prime of our age, what is it doing to the elderly? What is it going to do to those who are less healthy? What is it going to do when you're on a lot of medications? What is it going to do for you if you've got a weak immune system? And weak immune systems come about when we do not take care of our health. So now quickly we'll come on to what bananas have to offer. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. What is a banana? I'm sure we've all come across bananas. I'm sure we've all eaten bananas or even drank bananas in the form of milkshakes or smoothies. But what does bananas do? What are they good for? Have you ever learned about it, studied about it? Were you given, food studies at school? I think that's one of the areas that we really, really could do a lot as parents from home. Teach and educate our children about fruits, vegetables, their benefits. And then when they're feeling a little low, they can go straight to whatever they need and realize that they're healing themselves before it gets worse. Or then taking in foods like I've mentioned about the dates. Have a date a day, have an apple a day, and have pomegranates a day. If anything from these shows that I've done, if you can just put these habits into your lifestyle, you'll make such a difference and prevent many illnesses, so you're not just healing, but you're also preventing other illnesses coming about. So bananas, where do they come from? Did you know it's a tender evergreen perennial herb with large palm-like leaves and hanging red cigar flower-like bunches of finger fruits. Okay, so that's how they look visually, starting off green and then going yellow when they ripen. They probably originate in India or Southeast Asia, and they're cultivated in the tropics and subtropics. There's about 40 wild species and over 3,000 cultivars, also known as desert bananas. Okay, it comes from Musa acuminata, okay, which is a plantain. Bananas, I think we all have them in our kitchens. We all eat them in some form or another. But did you even know it's not even a fruit? It's actually the largest herb known. It's a perennial with a trunk of overlapping and semi-rigid coarse leaves. It is the most productive herb too, with 10 to 20 bananas per hand, up to 15 hands per bunch, and several bunches per plant per year. Subhanallah. Yeah? So there is a load of knowledge for you. It is known as the most popular fruit in the world. The survey has it that Britons almost consume 95% of Britons buy bananas regularly, and over 30 years ago it supplanted apples as the nation's favorite fruit. So although we know apples, last I read there was over 50 or even more double different types of apples, but there you go, bananas is even beaten the apples in our purchase and use. So that's a good thing. That's saying that we're buying it, we're eating it. Now, why are we buying it? What's the big deal about it? Globally, exports of bananas reached 118 million tons in 2017. So what is it that we're buying into? Why are we buying it? So there's some knowledge there that people have that they're using it, and they know it's good for them, and then they're going back to it as well, which is fantastic. Why are they so popular? Well, it's a convenience food. It's wonderful. It's packaged in the skin. You can carry it and then open it up, unless you've squashed it on the way, of course, and I've done that many a times. Going to my schools, teaching. Never mind. Memories come to mind. Okay, you can eat it whole. Contents. There's no seeds in it, which is convenient as well. Also, bananas are rightly acknowledged as a superb source of instant absorbable energy in the form of glucose, fructose, sucrose. Excellent for athletes and children. Reputably, they are richer in minerals than any other super soft fruit except strawberries. It has a high amount of pectin fiber as apples and good complement of vitamins. Bananas are now known to have bioavailable tryptophan, an amino acid the brain uses to make serotonin. Now, this is a really important area I want to just home in on. Serotonin is a neurotransmitter that controls the gut movement, so it helps you digest the food, but also affects the mood and appetite, learning, and the memory. So, good thing for our children to have regularly, but also it releases the chemical serotonin, which is a happy serotonin, chemical. And so it gives you pleasure in eating it. It's sweeter to the tongue. It gives you all this energy. So you can't go wrong with bananas. And this is what science tells us, yeah? So bananas are a cooling food. It's effective for settling the stomach in most people. Banana puree can even be safely given to, infant foods as a puree. Banana smoothies with honey. Remember, we're going to go on to honey so you can see the benefits of honey and then bananas, inshallah. It's a good source of potassium. It's useful for osteoporosis, diets, restoration of potassium levels, implies less loss of calcium. So that's why you really do need your potassium in your bodies in order to maintain the calcium in your body and not being lost. So the potassium effect also seen in lower blood pressure, stress, and hypoglycemia through reduction of damaging LDL cholesterol in the blood and raising that of the beneficial HDL. Bananas may also be used to help treat anemia, as their iron content stimulates the production of hemoglobin in the blood. Finally, don't disregard the banana skin also. Inside the banana skin, you have this kind of skin-like formation. If you were to rub that over your bruise or your sunburn, it will lessen the impact and burn, and also good for mosquito bites. In an emergency, it can be used as a poultice for treating liver spots. So you can actually use it to put on with any kind of oils or whatever and put it on the area, and it'll become like a bandage formation. But bananas, Islamically, in the Quran, what do they offer? Yeah, what is said about the bananas? Like we said, we're looking at the fruits and vegetables and condiments in the Quran. So, does anybody know what bananas are described as in the Quran? They're known as the talh. Yeah, Talh, banana, or the acacia or acacia. In chapter 56, ayah 29, the ayah reads, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, and among talh, banana trees with fruit piled one above the other. Now, some scholars have a variation of opinion on which kind of bananas or which fruits it is, something similar to bananas, but we'll accept what most of the scholars say, which is that they think it's bananas and the bunches of bananas. Bananas are hot and wet in their nature and best when they're ripe and sweet. Bananas help against roughness of the chest. So, when they're spoken about in the Quran and the Hadith, it was encouraged by the Prophet as well. So we should then look at it not only as a heavenly fruit, but also a fruit that's mentioned in the Quran because there's benefit from it. Not everything has been described and explained thoroughly. It's given direction, it's given some focal light upon it, and then it's for us to then investigate it. So what more do we find that the scholars have found out about bananas, and how do they see from the Quranic knowledge and from their research, what did they find for us to take from it? So, like we said, bananas help against the roughness of the chest and lungs. So it relieves coughing, helps against ulcers of the kidney and prostate. Bananas, in addition, produce urine, diuretic, stimulates semen production, like we just said, and softens the stomach. And they should be eaten before meals. So this is one of the things I wanted to talk about, actually. I found that maybe not so in other cultures, but I can speak for Asian culture especially, and maybe it might have changed a lot so now. But fruits, it's usually seen as a sweet dish to be eaten after the meals. It was actually encouraged to eat bananas pure before the meal. Any sweet that you have, the Prophet ﷺ actually encouraged, like you have dates, like you have pomegranates, to actually eat it before the meal. So maybe if you haven't already, maybe you can start by having a few meals where you have the sweet dish first and see the difference. And you'll actually notice that the sweet meals are normally water-based, if you're talking about fruits and vegetables, and that by them going first into your stomach, you allow then the digestion to be eased and not put pressure on by putting fruit on top of your heavy meal. So if you like, you can always research what I've just said, but it is a good sunnah to actually have fruits, sweet things before your heavy big meal, and especially if they're water-based. So bananas, if taken too much, can be harmful as well. So you need to know what your nature is, but also if you've got a bad stomach, maybe lay off the bananas for a while. They can aggravate phlegm. So if you're going through a bout of flu or a cold, maybe lay off the bananas at that point. But also there could be some side effects if you have too much sugary things, and that's, that goes without saying, that if you do then have anything sugary, rinse your mouth out after eating your foods, just like the sunnah is, and watch how much sweet you have. There's also another place in the Quran, chapter 56, ayah 27 to 30, where the banana is spoken about as a fruit of paradise. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and those on the right hand, how fortunate will be those on the right hand. They will be among thornless loti trees, and among banana trees, and fruits piled one above the another, and in shade long extended. Surah Waqiyah, chapter 56, 27 to 30. Alhamdulillah, this was on the same ayah but extended in the knowledge. So Al-Tabari, right, this scholar said that the phrase among the thornless lotus trees means the trees loaded with fruits which have no thorns. Okay, it's narrated that Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him, said that it meant loaded with fruits. From Ikrimah, may Allah be pleased with him, it is narrated that it means that there were no thorns. So we understand that in Jannah, there'll be nothing that will be harmful or painful, so the thorns won't be there. And we understand the original banana tree does actually start off with thorns, and then they change or break off. So that's an interesting point, and maybe all the children listening could go and research that. The Arabs, this is a tree with a lot of thorns. Okay, but the commentators among the Sahaba, Tabi'in and successors said that it means the bananas, because when they start off they look like thorns and then they go on to become, the fruits. Ibn Kathir narrated that Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, may Allah be pleased with him, said that this verse refers to the banana and the people of Yemen called the banana talha. Okay, so there's the proof of it. The Arabic word for banana is mawz, M-A-W-Z, which comes from the Indian word muza. Okay, the Arabs likened its fruits to fingers, and they do look like fingers, don't they, when they're small, and maybe very large fingers later on. When cultivation of bananas was transferred to Spain and then to Europe, they became known as bananas. Like we said, they grow to about 3 to 6 meters high. They are also known to mankind for more than 2,000 years. So historically, you can go back into the historical books and find that they were mentioned. Alhamdulillah, even the Chinese are believed to have used the extracted root of the banana tree as a medicine to treat measles, headaches, and jaundice. Now, we're coming close to a break, so I'll just give you an idea that, these fruits can be cooked. They can be eaten raw. You can make a type of jelly with it. It can be dried up as chips. And they can be eaten fresh as well. So, subhanAllah, rich in carbohydrates, gives the body energy and heat. It's composed of starch. When it's unripe, it's difficult to digest. But once starch turns into sugar, it becomes easier to digest and better in the taste as well. We'd also find that it contains a good level of vitamin C, And that's why it contains a number of B vitamins, like we said, B1, B2, and B6. Minerals are found in it, 40 milligrams per 100 grams, subhanAllah, yeah? So rich in potassium, lower blood pressure, reduces the burden on the kidneys, and protects against many diseases. It has calcium, iron, and copper, subhanAllah. So, can you see, when Allah makes small mention of this particular fruit, when we uncover how much things it provides, and the last point I'll end with is it contains fluoride, which protects the teeth. So having bananas regularly must be a really good thing, subhanAllah. Not only for your body, for your healing, for your minerals, for your energy, for your sugars, and for healing, like we said, with the outer skin. So let's, inshallah, be able to use the banana in our lives. We're coming into our first break. Inshallah, I'll see you on the other side of the break and resume with our show. Jazakallah khair.